No, it's not the same. I have a lot of videos on my page explaining this, but I'll explain it again. Black women often date outside of their race because they have to, not because they necessarily want to. When all of their men or the men in their proximity consistently date outside of the race, what other choice do they have besides dating outside of the race? What other choice do they have? Black women are the most disrespected race and gender. They get the short end of the stick all the time on literally anything you can even imagine. So it's not the same if they date outside of their race. It's just not.
What's going on, YouTube? Today we are back with another reaction video for you. This one we have the sisterhood seemingly upset that young brothers are graduating out of college and choosing white women the moment they grab the success as an NFL player. Man, this is a crazy topic because all over TikTok, they're wildin'. I'd like to take a deeper dive into this, so let's get into the video.
You know, one thing I don't like is when I hear certain black men, not all, but when they say, oh, well, the reason I don't talk to black girls is because when I was younger, they always said I was corny or lame. And if you want to date a white girl, by all means, do you. If you want to date a white man, by all means, do you. But you become a COON is when you're not dating them because you like them as a person, but you're only dating them because they're white. Just like you have a preference, women also have a preference. If you came off a little corny or gave off that weird ass antisocial vibe or awkwardness, she has the right to not want to deal with you. You don't hear non-black people saying, well, I didn't want to talk to Amy because she said I was goofy. No, Brad got himself together, got his appearance up, and now he can talk to Amy. Be honest with yourself. It wasn't that she treated you poorly. You been wanting to talk to an Amy. Like, step your mouthpiece up and you would get full cooperation. Stop trying to compare yourself to a Future and a Russell.
Now, what she said was cool and all, but what she seems to be getting is she's disconnecting the black male experience from what we are experiencing. What we experience from our women is different than what Brad may have experienced from Amy. The problem is that we get made fun of by our sisters depending on our skin tone, by saying we're ashy, by saying that we're too dark, by calling us midnight, by saying some of the most demonstrative things that you could say to a black man, and it seems to be okay. So some black men tend to hold on to the fact that maybe back then the lighter skinned men may have been the thing, the it thing. So because more women gravitated to them, we tend to say, okay, y'all don't like us. But guess what? The white woman does. So then now some black men say, this is where I'm wanted, this is where I'm appreciated. So they go to them. It has nothing to do with how we feel necessarily about our race or being insecure with anything. It's just, hey, you didn't want me, they do. So guess what? Now I'm around them.
To all the black men that date strictly white women, riddle me this. Why would you not want your white girlfriend to be white? Like, why are you co-signing black hairstyles and acrylic nails and bonnets when you're trying to get away from that because you don't like black women, right? So why would you not want your white girlfriend to be doing white shit? Like lip syncing to Taylor Swift and straightening her hair. Anytime I see a white girl like this on my For You page, there is a black man right behind her.
You giving me the layup on this one. This is easy. So why when we ask you to not wear weaves and wigs that's blonde or to look like a white woman, you tend to want to do that? So wouldn't that be the same thing this woman is doing, rocking braids? Why is it okay for you to appropriate someone else's culture, but the moment they decide they want to wear braids, it's a problem? Y'all can call me whatever you want on this. We've had a problem with y'all wearing wigs and weaves for the longest now. Most men tell you, we don't want that. We want you natural, but you don't care. So now when you see a brother out there choosing to date a woman with some corn braids that's of a lighter complexion, it's a problem. Make that make sense.
I'm more than convinced that that is a big reason why we see so many black athletes date white women too, or date outside their race. You know, there's a dynamic with, you know, these white athletic teams because white men own those teams. They try to mask it as preference. Oh, I just prefer to date outside my race. But it's not really you preferring them. It's really you using, you know, I'm going to use white women as an example. It's really you using white women as pawns. Oh, if the white man dates white women and I date white women, I'm that much closer to being just like the white man. No. Hun.
So have y'all ever heard of a thing called proximity? Who you're around, you tend to want to date that person the most. A lot of these D1 athletes are coming out of predominantly white institutions. So with that being said, the majority of the women that they're around are white. So if you have to choose your dating pool, and if you're dealing with a demographic of women that's coming straight out of college saying, I don't need a man, I want to build my career, I'm focused on my career, and you have another group of women that's going to college to also get their degrees, but at the same time get their MRS degree, their Mrs. degree, and what do you have? You have women coming out of college choosing to get married, and they're white women. So how can you be mad at them when they're looking at an athlete who has a promising, successful future and not Brad to say who might just be choosing to work at Enterprise Car Rentals? They're choosing the athlete. You're choosing your career. Don't get mad at them and try to find every other reason why they could be wanting to date white women.
White women go to college to find a man. Black women go to college to prove they don't need one. Your mothers, our mothers, failed you because your mothers are actively your competition. This is why you see women who are in their 20s partying with their daughters in their 30s and 40s. I'm sorry, on Instagram you can have this woman and this woman. You got mother-daughter competing because if your mama ain't married, she's still dating. And if you are 25 and your mother is 41, y'all are likely looking at the same kind of men. Women have not raised their daughters. Why do we have so many women over 40 still talking about, I'm 40 and I look good, 50 and fly? Your ass should be sitting the fuck down somewhere. You should be somebody's grandma baking cookies. But instead you got the short haircut, out here talking about you a diva. You can look around and it's like, oh, I'm good, I'm a diva, and I'm this and that.
God. That's not the only reason, but yes, a lot of men, black men in particular, date white women because, one, they're anti-black, they have internalized racism, and two, a lot of them feel like moving up in the world requires being with, dating, marrying a white woman because they are of a higher social class. This is why you see so many professional football players with white wives. They're in a new socioeconomic status by being with a white woman. A lot of those white women come from money. Black people who are anti-black, mostly men, tend to have mixed children because they want to soften the features in themselves that they hate. Anti-blackness is literally everywhere. You know, saying good hair versus bad hair. Don't stay in the sun too long. Light skin is the right skin. Yes, I heard that growing up. People who date outside of their race often have internalized racism.
I'm sorry, but you could not be more wrong. That doesn't even make sense. We want to soften our features. Our features are our features. There's no guarantee that when a child is born, you know how that child features are going to be. Y'all are crazy. You find any excuse other than saying, you know what, maybe I should put more effort into being a wife. Maybe I should put more effort into being what the man that I want wants. But you spend so much time in just downing whoever it is you do want, then you're stuck with nothing, and then you're mad at the rest of the world because you don't get the outcomes that you desire. How about you focus on becoming the best version of yourself? Black men, statistically, that are successful date within their own race. 80% of successful black men date and marry their own women. What is this even about? This is crazy when you look at the top 1%, and that's because that's what women are looking at and choosing to say, well, the man that I want, that 1% man, are looking at white women. When that's not even true. The majority of athletes date and marry their own women. So I don't know what the whole debate is about. Women are in an echo chamber. They hear one thing and they tend to believe it all. And it makes no sense. Man, we gotta start moving this needle and telling these women, don't worry about who is not checking for you. Check for the ones that's checking for you. Check for the man that might not make $1 million a year, but he's a good man, solid man. And he'll take care of you, he'll protect you, and he'll find the means to provide for you until the day he dies. Look for that man. Stop chasing the man that ain't looking for you. This is crazy. Anyways, please like, comment, and subscribe. Stay in tune. I'll see you on the next one.
If a black man abuses his partner and she happens to be a white woman, Asian woman, or Hispanic woman, he is 9 times out of 10 a narcissist. Narcissistic black men get into relationships with non-black women to make black women feel inferior, because 9 times out of 10, he's angry at his mother. He resents his mama, but because he's loyal to his mama, he will take out his frustrations he has for her out on black women in general. And one of those ways is to triangulate white women against black women. They get into relationships with white women to hurt us, to make us feel inferior, but they end up abusing the white woman behind closed doors. My white sisters, let's help each other.